All right, the Michigan Wolverines just found a massive steal. They just uncovered a gem in recruiting, and it's not a freshman. It is a second-year player. We're going to talk about him. We are going to talk about some of the comments that Sharon Moore made in general, and we're going to talk about the penalties. We're going to do it. We're going to spend the back half of this video talking about the penalties, but first we're going to talk about the big and good stuff going on in camp right now. And here's the thing that I think is very unique about the Michigan Wolverines, and it's exactly what you want to have happen in college athletics. It is this idea of secrecy, something that with media these days and reporters and just everything that's going on and just fans that want to know everything before it happens that didn't used to be. Like, it is something that is so good and so refreshing to hear kids are turning off their phones, getting rid of social media. All these different things are happening. Really, really exciting. So let's talk about this a little bit, and let's talk about a guy that nobody's talking about. And the reason I talk about massive steal is, look at this. This is our 2024 recruiting class at Michigan. And you have guys that are sophomores this year and redshirt freshmen on this list that you are excited about. Andrew Sprague, is that our starting right tackle? Right? I think it is. This year, he started to play at the end of his freshman year. Jaden Davis, Jordan Marshall, who's excited about him? Right? I think Chris just did a video on Devon Baxter. Blake Frazier is in the mix for starter at on the offensive line. They're moving him around a little bit. I don't know if he'll get it. He might have one more year of seasoning. You got Prescore and you got Hansen at tight end. These are the big guys that everybody knows. Well, not everybody knows, but these are the big ones that people are talking about. You even talk about guys like Amarian Stewart and Channing Goodwin. They're getting some run as well. There's a lot of good players. But then you keep going down, and you find Cole Sullivan. Cole Sullivan came in as an undersized linebacker out of Central Catholic in Pittsburgh, PA. And he's a guy that Sharon Moore cannot stop talking about. Again, this is read between the lines season in college football. It's read between the lines season. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right? I'm going to read between the lines, and I'm going to show it to you as well, and I want you to tell me what you read when you see this. This is Sharon Moore, and it started at Big Ten Media Days, where he said that sophomore Cole Sullivan, technically I believe they're saying redshirt freshman, but I think he played a ton of special team snaps, so it could be just straight sophomore, who Moore said at Big Ten Media Days could take the college football world by storm. He went on to say this: Cole Sullivan is a guy that continues to climb, continues to make an impact, Moore said Tuesday. We feel really good about that room from senior Ernie Hausman, Jashawn Barham, Jimmy Rolder. We all know that those three are the big three. We know that senior Jimmy Rolder has taken the next step. We talk about how good he's going to be. There's going to be those three linebackers that are going to be big. But he mentioned Cole in the same breath as those three. He is the fourth. He said he's probably the guy that people weren't talking about. He's a younger guy, but he's a guy that has really stood out. He's very multiple, doing different things. All right? Now, he goes on, and I was wrong. I think Chris did a video on Chase Taylor. In that room, again, you've got a guy like freshman Chase Taylor who just keeps chomping at the bit to be better and better and better. From a defensive perspective, that guy specifically, Cole, jumps out to me. We all know about the defensive front and what those guys have done, but Cole really is a guy that's jumped out. All right, let's just pause for a second. He's put on 30 pounds since his recruiting. All right, he's up to 230. Sharon Moore has a little bit of Harbaugh in him, where he goes and he talks about every single player, right? Every single player. But here's the difference with Cole Sullivan. He talks about Cole Sullivan, then he moves on to talk about Chase Taylor, and then goes back to Cole Sullivan. Then he moves on to the defensive front. Cole Sullivan's a middle linebacker. And I mean, he could play on the edge. I get that, right? But he goes to talk about the defensive front. And then what does he do? He goes back to Cole. So Those are the kind of read between the lines when there's a name that just keeps getting thrown out by a coach. Just over and over, just keeps getting thrown out. You know that is a name that is on his mind. And then you go into his recruiting profile. And MGO Blog this is a website I found 20 years ago. And they've been doing it the same, right? MGO Blog does such a good job because when a recruit commits, they give you everything. Now, we talked about how he was way down the list. He was a 3-star. He was not an overall rank, number 75 linebacker. Then you go over to On3. All right? So you have this weird thing where at 247, he's not rated. Right? On ESPN, he's the number 36 outside linebacker. Still a 3-star. 79 overall. 58 on the east side, number 14 out of Pennsylvania. But then you have Rivals and On3. Rivals has him as number 233 overall. Okay, that's 4-star status. Number 9 outside linebacker, number 6 in Pennsylvania. Then you go to On3. They like him even more. 112 overall, almost a top 100 player, depending on the recruiting site that you're looking at. This is interesting to me. Like, you have to understand that this is interesting. And when you take all of the things combined, all right, when you take all the things combined, you get a guy that is firmly in the 3 to 4-star bubble. There is a level of talent there, and he's put on the weight that does it. Really look forward to that. Linebackers get hurt. And so this could be a guy that could be a linebacker for us for another 2-3 years, at least 2, right? But it could be another 3 years easily. That could be the next guy to take that mantle as our seniors, Barham, are on the way out, Houseman. This is something to look at this year to see what kind of run he gets. All right, let's talk about the NCAA sanctions and all that kind of stuff. All right, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it helped that honestly, this is significantly less of a consequence as the 3-game suspension for Jim Harbaugh was back in 2023. Sharon Moore is going to miss a total of 3 games. Those 3 games are going to be the 3rd and 4th game this year. All right, that is against a nothing team. I think Central Michigan and then Nebraska. And then he will miss the first game next year, which is Western Michigan, which just so happens that he's going to miss a game that the team's in Germany. That's very unique. But Western's not a good football team, so it's not a concern. The $20 million, they decided to go there. The NCAA has made it clear that they are not in the business, especially after everything that happened with USC, Reggie Bush, right, Pete Carroll, all of that kind of stuff. They are no longer in business of making current collegiate athletes pay for the sins of their past coaches. Jim Harbaugh's gone. That helps. Connor Stallions is gone. That helps. Those guys, by the way, have a 10 and 8-year show cause, along with what I believe is a 1-year and 8-year suspension if they ever come back. So college football might be done for them. Sharon Moore has a 2-year show cause, but that doesn't really mean much because the suspension's already taken place. All right, so with all of that I think is one of the big reasons. Look, to me, you're going to see everything in social media from they got away with it, they're cheaters and stuff like that. Look, the penalty fits the crime. This was something that every team in college football was doing. By the way, something that was a very easy fix, which is just put headsets in the helmets, which they have. But this is something that everybody was doing. Connor Stallions just took it to the next level. It is what it is. Every team was doing it. And so when you see Michigan start to do it, fine. But then when Connor Stallions was gone, when they weren't doing it, they still went out, they still won. All right, there are quotes of people that are saying, no, Michigan won this championship fair and square. Like everything was gone. And even this report showed that. So not something I'm super worried about. I'm just glad it's behind us. I'm just glad it's behind us. We can move on and play football. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.